15 minutes.
Okay. Well, hi, Frenchie. I'm sorry that you got evicted so early from the Big Brother house. How was your experience overall? Would you really not change anything about how you played?
This go around, absolutely not. I I as watching as a fan, I got tired of certain things. And my wife told me, she was like, if you want to create a change, you got to get off the couch and go do it. So this go around for me was that, like, I had something to do. I was on a mission, and it came at the detriment of my game week 2, but I'm okay with that. And I'm a firm believer in things happen for a reason. So I'm not going to sit here and say what if, or oh man, only if. I had an absolute blast playing this game. This has been my dream forever. And certain things that happened, sure, but overall I wouldn't change any of it.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that you had such a good experience. That's great.
I did.
You said early on that you did not want to nominate women or minorities, but then you nominated 2 people of color, one of which was a woman. And I'm just wondering, what happened there?
I said that I wasn't going to send home. They weren't going home. And I held true to that. And I thought from past seasons, you have these huge pool of people to pull from and nominate. Well, my pond turned to a water droplet really fast with that, the team twists, and then the wild card competitions, and then with Christian saving himself and somebody else. Like, my original intent was to put Christian and Travis on the block together. One of them goes home. I had no issues with that. And then things evolved and the slaughterhouse happened, and I pulled those people that I didn't trust close to me. So that made it a little hard for me to nominate Brent and Travis. And on top of that, Travis is a stud. If I would have gave him the opportunity to pull himself off, he would have done it. I knew Christian was coming after me, and Alyssa was the closest person to him. So I just basically wanted to send a message. I was like, you know what? I know you guys are. You better go tell them, because if you keep coming after me, I'm coming after you. So she was never in my head, I was like, I know you're not going home, but I am going to send that signal. Kyland, I trusted him. I didn't know what was going to happen in the veto, but I know he would use it. And that's exactly what I wanted. 99% of the people in my pool were either women or people of color. And I knew that at that point, when I was looking at them keys, it literally broke my heart, because I knew that I was going to have to do that, or completely blow up my game by putting Brent and Travis up and one of them saving themselves. And then if Brent was stuck up there, the whole slaughterhouse would be coming at me 90 miles an hour. So I put up Alyssa to send that message, and Kylan because I trusted him. And if something like a dice roll or something like that happened in the veto, I know he would have been there to help save that and use it in a way that would benefit the 2 of us. So that's why he was honestly up there, is because I trusted him. So it might have taken a roller coaster to get my end goal, but I got my end goal, and I wouldn't change that. I don't regret it, because at the end of the day, I got who I wanted, and it might have been crazy to get there, but I got there, and my message got pointed across, and the slaughterhouse at that particular time was intact. So all 3 at the time were aligning, regardless. And I got Travis out of the house. I got a huge competitor out of the house, and I met my goal. A jock went home.
Yeah, you did. You did.
I came in saying that. I swung for the fences, and I got it. So I don't regret it.
One thing that really struck me that we didn't actually get to see until the 2nd episode aired was right after your 4-person group entered the house, you went upstairs and promised those guys safety just like right away if you won HOH. What was your thinking there? Because I felt like that was a big move before you even knew, all the house guests.
Right. Derek, I had an instant connection with. I adore that man. And I knew that no matter what, him and I were going to stick together. Even upstairs, not knowing anybody, like it was just, it's hard to explain. When you know, you know. And
Mhm.
I knew with him. The other three, or the other two, I didn't really know at the time. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make y'all feel safe just in case one of y'all win HOH. Like, I don't want you to think I'd come after you. So I tried to make it a point to be like, you're good with me. That's the game. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? It's part of the game. And as the game went on, he became my target, and I didn't care what was said upstairs. Um, I had a bigger point to prove at that time, and he just happened to be that point. He's a great guy. I love him to death, and we're gonna be friends outside of the house. But he looks like he was chiseled from a Greek god, and he had to go. Um,
Yeah.
he's an amazing person, but this is a game, and he had to go.
So let's talk about Derek X for a minute, because the first week of feeds, it seemed like a group of you thought he was some kind of evil genius, and we were all sitting there going like, Derek X isn't even like playing the game. I was curious like where that came from and why he became such a target.
He lied to my face about an alliance that Kyland, him, and Travis were starting. He tried to say it wasn't an alliance at the hammock. I confronted him about it. He thought I didn't really know about it. And then when I spit off the names to him, it looked like his face melted. Like he knew at that point that I knew what was going on. And he was like, oh crap. So then he kind of became public enemy number one with that. And not just that, but there was something else, and I'm not going to publicize that. But he made a mistake in the house, and I corrected him on that, and he settled that with that person. And I'm a firm believer of we live and we learn, and that's why he became the center of everything. And
Mhm.
people, how people in Big Brother house talk. You get a little minute detail, and somehow it ends up this big.
Yeah.
And that's how it ended up the way it did. But he's actually a really good guy. He's super funny, and I hope nothing but the best for him. He's a great guy.
So it seemed like during your HOH reign that you promised safety to just about everybody in the house at some
Absolutely.
time or another. Was that you just kind of getting caught up in the game, or were you just trying to do that strategically, or what was that all about?
Um, my original intention was no women. That took out 8 of them, 8 of the possible people. Minorities, that took out the rest. All that was left was the jocks. And when my nomination pool came in, I was like, oh my goodness, there's literally 2 in here. And one of them is going to completely blow up my game and the slaughterhouse and everybody else. And then we're all in trouble.
Is that
If
Brent that you
Brent,
thought? Yeah.
if that one gets blown out, if I even remotely put him on the block. So that was super dangerous territory. And then Travis, he's a huge competitor, like I said. If I put him up on the block, he's going to pull himself off because he is that kind of guy. He's super motivated, and he is strong. And not knowing what the competition was going to be for the veto, that was dangerous territory. So I had no choice but to nominate somebody else on that key block. And I literally came out of that diary room after nominations. I had tears in my eyes, and I went straight to the bathroom and just sat there and felt like the biggest hypocrite in the world. And people didn't see that because I was in the bathroom, and then I came out, and Xavier he hugged me because he knew, because him and I had that conversation previously about this is who I don't want to nominate. And he knew, and he just hugged me, and he was like, it's a game. You do what you have to do. And or you did what you had to do. And that solidified that things were okay. And I just looked at him, and I was like, I didn't want to have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And people at that point didn't know what I actually did. But I have a feeling Xavier knew exactly what it was. He's a smart guy. And then after the nominations, he came up to me again and was like, it's okay, because he knew I felt like a total hypocrite. But I knew the end goal. And in order to get to the end goal, you know, sometimes you got to go through rocky times to create your own paradise. And my paradise was getting a jock out of that house. So that's what I did.
Okay. So who do you think is in the best position in the game right now?
Oh, Hannah, tenfold.
That is not at all who I was expecting. Okay,
Yeah.
why?
Hannah is super smart. She's very intelligent. There was a time in the house where she was standing at the memory wall, spouting every single one of our birthdays, things about us, favorite colors. I'm like, my goodness. And she's a Big Brother encyclopedia. You mentioned something about Big Brother, she knows about it. She's got this little show that she does called Hot Takes with Hannah. Like she knows this game. And if people don't watch out, she's going to take every one of them out because she's charismatic and people love her. I mean, I loved her. And, you know, it's just one of the, you know, we headbutted and, you know, I knew deep inside that she was like gunning for me. But at the same time, like I respected her so much that I was like, okay, touche.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, a gamer is going to recognize a gamer, and she saw straight through it, and so did I. And she's going to win this game if they don't watch out.
That is really interesting. I feel like she is not on anybody's radar.
Oh,
So
she's not, but she was on mine the whole time.
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Who do you think is in the worst position in the house?
Derek F right now. And it hurts my heart to say this. But people knew that we were like crazy close. I'm nervous that I passed that they think that I passed all my information that I knew onto him, which I did, but I think they're going to try to use that. And I hope not. And with knowing that Xavier is HOH, I think he will be okay this week. Because Xavier was somebody that you know we liked working with. So I hope for his sake he's okay. But I think it's a dangerous spot.
I think he'll be okay for at least a while. I think Brent is in some trouble this week.
Oh, absolutely. I caused that. And I made sure that before I left that house, he was public enemy number one. And he is on a lot of people's radars. Yeah. And I set that up before I left, hoping he would be the next one after me.
Who do you hope wins the money?
In my opinion, there's a select few that totally deserve this. Hannah's one of them. Derek F, obviously. I love him to death. Azza, she's such an amazing person. And her personality and the things that she does for people, not asking anything in return, that kind of person to me deserves everything. And I hope that she does get everything. Sarah Beth is such a sweetheart. I wouldn't mind seeing her win. And then Kyland, he's a stud, but at the same time, like he's a sweetheart. And yeah, he's the person that took me out. And I'm sure people don't expect me to say this, but he's, you know, I hope he goes far because he deserves it. You know, he built himself a hell of a resume starting with his HOH. He took me out. I was the most protected player last week, the most, and he took me out. He was, you know, plenty of people were like, he was the only one with the balls that would have done it. Now, I think if Hannah got HOH, I definitely would have been out as well. I know this. I'm not naive. You know, I knew the house. But he actually, you know, and then with the slaughterhouse coming in and feeding him that as well, like it didn't help. They were like, I didn't do that. And I'm like, yeah, you did. I know you did. I'm not naive to think you didn't. But yeah, that's who I think.
All right. Well, that is my time. So thank you so much for speaking with me today. And congratulations on at least getting on the show, because I know lots of us would love to do that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
All right. You take care.
Thanks. Next week. Bye.